There's a sentence that has quietly cost people hundreds of thousands of dollars, and there's a good chance you've said it yourself. I'll start investing when I have more money. It sounds responsible, it sounds patient, it sounds like the smart, careful thing to do, but it's one of the most expensive sentences you will ever say. And today I'm going to show you the exact math that proves it. Because once you see these numbers, you can never unsee them. By the end of this video, you'll understand why waiting is costing you far more than you think, why more money is a trap that never resolves itself, and exactly how to start investing today, no matter how little you think you have. Let's get into it. The trap that feels like wisdom. Here's the thing about waiting to invest. It doesn't feel like a mistake, it feels like wisdom. When you tell yourself, I'll invest later, once things are more stable, once I have a bigger cushion, once I've paid off this one thing, you feel responsible. You feel like you're being careful with your money. You're doing the mature, disciplined thing. But here's what's actually happening underneath that feeling. You're making a decision right now to give up the single most powerful force in all of personal finance. And that force isn't a hot stock. It isn't some secret strategy. It's time. Time is the one ingredient in wealth building that you cannot buy back, cannot speed up, and cannot recover once it's gone. Every year you wait is a year you can never get back. And unlike money, which you can always earn more of, time only moves in one direction. So when you wait to invest, you're not protecting yourself, you're quietly trading away the most valuable asset you have. And the worst part is that it doesn't feel like a loss in the moment, because the cost is invisible. You don't see the wealth you're giving up. You only feel the comfort of not having to act yet. Let me make that invisible cost visible. Why more money is a moving target? Before we get to the math, I want to talk about the phrase itself, because it's sneakier than it sounds. When someone says they'll invest when they have more money, I always ask the same question: how much more? And almost nobody has an answer, because more money isn't actually a number, it's a feeling. And feelings move. Think about your own life. A few years ago, you probably earned less than you do now, and back then, you imagined that if you just made what you make today, you'd feel comfortable, you'd have breathing room, you'd finally be able to save and invest. But here you are, and for most people, that comfortable feeling never arrived. Because as income rises, so does spending. It's so common it has a name: lifestyle creep. You get a raise, and within a few months, your expenses quietly expand to swallow it. The bigger apartment, the newer car, the nicer subscriptions, the slightly more expensive everything. So, more money keeps moving just out of reach. Every time you get closer, the target slides forward. The person earning $40,000 thinks they'll invest at 60. The person at 60 thinks they'll invest at 90. The person at 90 thinks they'll invest when they hit 6 figures, and the person at 6 figures is somehow still living paycheck to paycheck, wondering where it all goes. This isn't a math problem, it's a psychology problem. The goalpost moves because you never planted it in the ground to begin with. And the only way to win this game is to stop waiting for a feeling and start acting on a decision. The real cost of waiting, the numbers. Now let's make this concrete, because the abstract version never hits the way the actual numbers do. Let me introduce you to two people. They're identical in almost every way. Same age, same income, same expenses. The only difference is when they start. Person A starts investing $200 a month at age 25. That's it, $200. For many people, that's less than they spend on subscriptions and takeout combined. Person B waits. They tell themselves they'll start when they have more money, and they finally begin at age 35, 10 years later. But to make up for lost time, person B invests double, $400 a month. Both of them keep investing until age 65. Both earn the same average return. Let's use 8%, which is a reasonable long-term market average. Here's what happens. Person A, investing $200 a month starting at 25, ends up with roughly $620,000. Person B, investing $400 a month, double the amount, but starting 10 years later, ends up with roughly $580,000. Stop and look at that. Person B invested twice as much money every single month for 30 straight years, and they still ended up with less than person A. How is that possible? One word: time. Person A's money had 10 extra years to compound. And in the world of compounding, the early years aren't just a little more valuable, they're dramatically more valuable because they have the longest runway to grow and multiply. That gap, that difference between starting now and starting later, is the real cost of waiting. And notice, person B didn't even wait that long in the grand scheme of things. just 10 years. Imagine the cost of waiting 20. How compounding actually works. Let me take a second to explain why this happens, because once you truly understand compounding, waiting becomes almost impossible to justify. When you invest money, it earns a return. Simple enough. But here's the magic. The next year, you don't just earn a return on your original money, you earn a return on your original money plus the returns it already made, and the year after that, you earn returns on all of it again. Your money makes money, and then that money makes money, and then that money makes money. In the early years, this feels painfully slow. You put in a few $1,000s and it grows by a few hundred. It barely feels worth it. This is exactly the moment most people quit or never start because the early results are so unimpressive. But compounding isn't a straight line, it's a curve, and the curve gets steeper over time. The real explosion of growth happens in the later years. The last decade of a long investment timeline often produces more growth than the first 2 decades combined. Here's the critical insight. To get that explosive growth at the end, you have to plant the seed at the beginning. The person who waits doesn't just lose the years they skipped, they lose the most powerful years, the ones at the far end of the curve where the growth would have been the largest. By starting late, you don't chop off the slow beginning, you chop off the explosive end. That's why $200 invested at 25 beats $400 invested at 35. The early money gets to ride the entire curve. The late money never reaches the steep part. But I can only invest a little. Now I can already hear the objection because it's the most common one. That's fine for someone with $200 a month, but I can barely spare 25 or 50. I want to address this directly because it's exactly the thinking that keeps people on the sidelines forever. Let's run the math on a small amount. $50 a month, invested from age 25 to 65 at 8% average returns. That comes out to roughly $175,000 from $50 a month, money that for many people is hiding inside their subscriptions, their food delivery, their impulse purchases. But here's what matters even more than the number. The amount isn't the point, starting is the point. Because the moment you start, 2 powerful things happen that simply do not happen while you're waiting. First, you build the habit, and habits scale far more easily than they start. The person investing $50 today is overwhelmingly more likely to be investing $200 a month in 3 years than the person who's still waiting to feel ready. Once the system exists, increasing the amount is easy. Going from 0 to something is the hard part. You're crossing that gap now, while it's small. Second, your money starts working immediately. Every single month you stay out of the market is a month your money isn't compounding. And remember the curve? Each early month is a month that gets the longest possible runway. You don't want to shorten that runway by even a year if you can help it. Starting small isn't a compromise. It's the entire strategy. Nobody starts at the top. Everybody starts with the amount that feels almost too small to matter, and then they grow it. The other version of waiting, timing the market. Now, some people aren't waiting for more money. They're waiting for the right moment in the market. They watch the news, they see volatility, they see headlines about uncertainty, and they think, I'll wait until things calm down. I'll get in when the market dips. I'll wait for a clearer picture. I want to show you what that instinct actually costs because the data here is remarkable. There was an analysis that compared different investing approaches over a long period. One imaginary investor had perfect timing. Every single year, they somehow invested at the exact lowest point of the market. The absolute best possible moment every time for decades, a level of precision no human being could ever actually achieve. Another investor did something almost mindless. They just invested their money on the first day of every year, no matter what was happening. No timing, no waiting, no cleverness. They just put it in and moved on. The difference between the perfect timer and the mindless investor? Surprisingly small. The person with literally perfect timing ended up only modestly ahead of the person who just invested consistently without thinking about it at all. And here's the kicker. There was a third investor in many versions of this study who did the worst of all. The one who held their money in cash, waiting for the perfect moment that never felt right and never fully committed. They lost to everyone. The lesson is clear. Trying to time the market is a losing game even if you're perfect at it, and nobody's perfect at it. The investor who simply starts and stays consistent beats the one who waits for clarity almost every single time. Time in the market beats timing the market. Not sometimes, almost always. The debt objection, there's one more objection I haven't addressed, and it's a fair one. I have debt, I can't invest while I'm still paying off debt. Here's the honest, nuanced answer. If your debt carries a high interest rate, think credit cards or personal loans, anything above roughly 7%, then yes, prioritize knocking that out first. Paying off a credit card charging 22% is the equivalent of earning a guaranteed 22% return. Nothing in the market reliably beats that. So that debt comes first. But if your debt is lower interest, a reasonable mortgage, certain student loans, anything below about 7%, you should not wait to invest until it's gone. You should be doing both at the same time. Pay your minimums on the low interest debt and invest alongside it. Because over the long run, the market's average return is higher than that interest rate, and every year you delay investing is a year of compounding you can never recover. Don't let low interest debt become the excuse that keeps you out of the market for a decade. That excuse costs more than the interest ever would. The only question that matters, so here's what I want you to sit with after this video. The question is not, how much should I invest? It's not, what should I buy? Those questions matter, and we cover them in other videos. But the only question that matters right now, today, is this. What am I actually waiting for? Be specific, write it down. Because if the honest answer is more money, you now know that more money invested later is worth less than less money invested now. The math does not care about your comfort level, it only rewards time. And if the answer is the right moment, you now know that the right moment is a myth and that consistency beats perfect timing even in a fantasy where perfect timing is possible. And if the answer is, I'm scared, I don't know enough, I don't want to mess it up, that's the most honest answer of all, and the solution is simply to start small enough that the fear can't stop you. $25, $50, an amount so small that being wrong wouldn't hurt, but being consistent would change your life. Every single day you wait, you are spending time, the one resource you can never earn back. How to start today? Let me make this stupidly simple so there's no excuse left. Step 1, open an investment account today, not this weekend, not next month, today. A Roth IRA or a basic brokerage account at any major provider takes about 10 minutes to open from your phone. Links are in the description. Step 2, set up an automatic recurring investment of whatever amount you can genuinely afford right now. Not the amount you think you should invest, the amount you can actually do today without disrupting your life, even if it's $25. Automate it so it happens without you having to make the decision again every month. Step 3, put that money into something simple and broad. For most people, a total market index fund is the right starting point. One fund, broad diversification, low fees. You don't need to be clever, you need to be started. Step 4, then leave it alone and increase the amount whenever you can. Got a raise? Bump it up, cut an expense, redirect it. The system is already built, Sab. Now you just feed it more over time. That's it. You're no longer waiting for more money, you're in the market. And from this moment forward, time is finally working for you instead of against you. If this video shifted how you think about waiting, do me a favor and subscribe. Net Worth Nation is built for people who are done making excuses and ready to actually build wealth, starting from wherever they are right now with whatever they have. Drop a comment below. How much are you starting with? Whatever the number, I want to see it. Because the people who comment a number are far more likely to actually follow through. Say it out loud, make it real. And if you know someone who's been telling themselves they'll invest someday when they have more money, share this video with them. You might be the reason they finally start. You don't need more money to begin, you need more time in the market, and the only way to get more time is to start now. I'll see you in the next one. Let's build.